Welcome to Live Better Longer. I'm your host, Bill Borton. My guest, Claire Brown Kohler, is a business coach and consultant with 30 years of experience running and selling a very successful business. Claire's clients get the benefit of her help with goal setting, prioritizing those goals, and putting into place strategic plans to achieve measurable results. Claire, welcome to Live Better Longer.
Hi, Bill. Thanks for having me.
So, Claire, when you speak and do workshops, one of your main themes is living by design, not by default. What led you to that?
Well, I've been studying under a lot of different mentors over the last 3 years. And as I'm out networking and I'm asking people what their goals are, a favorite question of mine, I became surprised by how many people didn't have clear goals. And it led me, as I worked with these mentors, to start wondering what leads us to not set goals in the first place. And I truly believe that you do live better, longer, if you have a goal in mind. So why don't people set goals? I think it has a lot to do with our fear of our limiting beliefs, of our lack of confidence in achieving those goals. Maybe we set a goal, we didn't accomplish it, and then we gave up on goal setting altogether.
I've never done any of those things.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So I started really looking into this and trying to understand how to help people set goals. Because as a business coach, obviously, that's one of my key desires. It's what I wake up in the morning passionate about. My goal is to help people set and achieve goals. So how to do that? Well, when I started looking into it, I realized that the brain is actually a goal-achieving machine. And a great source for anybody that wants to look into this is actually Psychocybernetics by Dr. Maxwell Maltz. Thank you. And so the brain is looking for goals to achieve. We're actually born with it. Just like the birds know how to fly south, the brain knows how to achieve goals. The problem is when you don't put a goal into the brain, it doesn't have anything to achieve. And a lot of what we don't understand about the human operating system is that from the time that we're very young until we're about 7, we are sponges without any ability to discriminate about what's poured into us. So we end up, without discrimination, taking in all of this input as though it's real. So if we grow up with positive feedback, then we tend to have positive outcomes. If we grow up with negative feedback, we tend to look at life more negatively. Our beliefs really are our destiny. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And how that works is the 5 primary drivers. I can thank David Bayer for this. I can thank Paul Martinelli of the John Maxwell team for this. So how it works is that we start out with a belief, and we get these beliefs. We can get these beliefs very early, or we can get these beliefs if we've had a negative or a positive situation happen to us. There's no good or bad. It can be positive or it can be negative. So something happens to us, we create an image of who we are. Then we have thoughts and feelings that are in alignment with that image. So if we grow up thinking that, for example, money is hard to make, then we have thoughts and feelings that money is hard to make. Then when it comes time for us to take action, we either don't take action needed to make more money, or we react negatively, or we react counterproductively because we have to prove the image that we have of ourselves.
We have all these limiting beliefs that we took on before we were old enough to understand the difference.
Exactly. So then, guess what happens? We produce the results, which confirm our belief, and we're caught up in a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Perpetuates the myth.
Exactly. Or a psychocybernetic loop. So one of my goals is to help people take a critical step back and say, is this truly what I want to believe about myself? And help them create a new belief. It's very exciting that we have this ability to do this, but we're not really taught or trained how to do it unless we go out of our way. It's not, I wish that there was creating your own self-image 101 taught as a course in schools, because we truly can come up with our own self-image. We just don't know that. So that's how we live by default, not by design.
Interesting.
So my goal is to do whatever I can to help people examine their life with a fresh perspective and say, is this how I want to live my life?
Now, what I know about change, because in my business I have to help a lot of people kind of rewire or rethink their belief systems around money and around investing and around insurance and things along those lines. And there's a lot of people, again, fear, confusion, money stories they got when they were young that create gridlock.
Yep.
And so someone has to be willing and able to be able to work with you. So I'm assuming that a good bit of the time you're having conversations with people around how to get them to that point of being willing to take the step.
Right. And the first thing is to see what living by default costs them. That they're not living into their ultimate self, that they are limited by the way they were raised, and that they may or may not understand that they have the capability to take that critical step back and make a new decision about how they want to live their life.
I'd like to talk more about that after we take a brief break for a word from our sponsors. I'm Bill Borton. We'll be back with more Live Better Longer.
When did you see the sign?
When I needed to jumpstart sales.
Build attendance for an event.
Help people find their way. Fast Signs designed new directional signage.
And got them back on track. Get started at fastsigns.com.
I'm Casey Price, host of a brand new show on RVN TV called Justice for All. Tune in every Tuesday at 1 p.m. as some of South Jersey's amazing attorneys share their stories and important legal information that could affect you and the people you love. Remember, that's in Justice for All, every Tuesday at 1 p.m., only on RVN TV.
Is your business growing and now you need a new and bigger building? Has your organization outgrown their facility and now it's time to expand?
Do your hobbies require the need for more space?
If you're paying rent, but now you want the advantages of owning, the prospect of financing, construction, and on-time completion may seem out of your reach. General Steel Corporation has the answer.
A pre-engineered steel building from the General will not only look great and satisfy almost any need, but you'll save time and money. Our team will help you create your building and deliver it to your location. We offer design services to help you present your concept to board members, bankers, or for fundraising. And the General can even help with financing. General Steel is a name you know, with quality backed by a 50-year structural warranty. Call today and find out how easy it is to have the building you want. You may even save up to $20,000 with rebates. If you need space, you need the General.
Welcome back to Live Better Longer. I'm your host, Bill Borton, here with Claire Brown Kohler from We Empower Leaders. So Claire, when people make a decision that they want to improve their lives and make better choices and set goals, don't they have to know how to do all that?
The beauty is they don't, actually. If they can imagine themselves in the new role or doing the new skill that they want to learn, the brain will actually figure out how to do it. The brain does not know the difference between real and imaginary, and there are a lot of different studies that prove this. One is that they wired the brains of piano players in Boston several years ago, and they wired them playing the piano, and then they wired them playing the piano in their head, and the brain lit up in exactly the same place. They've done studies where people that actually practice golf or tennis have virtually the same results as the people that sit and imagine very clearly that they're practicing golf or tennis. So the brain can actually create all kinds of ways for you to accomplish your goal as long as you get into your head clearly what you want.
Yeah, but then you can't keep changing your mind, right?
That's true, although I'll give you my example. So for many years, I was very happy with our company, where we were going, and then it was a video company, and you can imagine what was happening to video. And I started wishing, I was working with a life coach at the time, and I started just imagining life happy, free, and abundant. I was clear. Now, I didn't know what that would look like, but I was very clear that I wanted abundance and I wanted happiness. And one day the phone call came in that somebody wanted to buy our company. Now, we had been valued at 0 2 years before, and the offer was, I can't say, but it was quite generous. And nobody believed that it would happen but me. And I knew it was going to happen. And it did happen. It was literally a miracle. I mean, there is absolutely zero evidence to support that this would have happened. But I had a very clear image of happiness and abundance. So you can do it. You can create what you want. You can have a goal. You don't actually have to know exactly, but if you do know exactly, I sat on my couch yesterday for 15 minutes and imagined this interview going well. So it can be from the sublime to the, tiny. So you set in mind what you want, and then the brain will figure out how to achieve it. Just like the birds know how to fly south, the brain will figure out what you need to know. And I would encourage people to take a look back at their own lives and see how this is true. And the way we operate as human beings, if you watch news, you see that the focus is always on the negative. If we train ourselves to look at the positive, if we train ourselves to look back at our successes, there's a great exercise that I did with one of my mentors that he had us write down all of our accomplishments from, maybe you don't remember when you learned how to walk, but if you think about how you learned how to walk, you fell down a whole bunch of times before you got there, right? So you look at all of your accomplishments and who you were being when you accomplished that, and you relive that sense of accomplishment, and you can use that to take you through the next challenge, to help you accomplish the next set of goals.
Most of us tend to remember the times that we didn't do so well or didn't measure up, and the pain that we felt, or the shame, or what have you.
Right.
And we tend to kind of minimize our accomplishments. That wasn't so great,
And if we could turn our brain the opposite way, to minimize the mistakes, or look at a mistake as our learning experience, and focus on what we did right, we would do things right more often.
Well, we tend to get out of our own way by not trying to overthink things. Then it's a little easier for that automatic reaction to kind of kick in and take over.
So awareness is a critical element of all of this. The more you can stop yourself in the middle of a negative thought, check it, and say, is this really what I want to be thinking? Is this productive? Is this going to get me where I want to go? And stop that thinking and turn your attention back to how to be more positive about what you want. And I've actually created a 5-step plan to help people do this.
I'm looking forward to hearing all about that after we come back for more Live Better Longer after another word from our sponsor. I'm Bill Borton. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Christine Patton, the Juice Girl. The Champion Juicer has been my juicer of choice for years. Whether I'm making a glass of juice or a large batch of juice for my juice bar. These juicers are simple to use and so easy to clean. Champion juicers are masticating, cold-pressed juicers. 2 models are available, the Classic 2000 and the new Elite 4000. Besides juicing, both models can make frozen fruit, smoothies, nut butters, sauces, and even baby food. The Elite 4000 Champion Juicer also excels at juicing greens and wheatgrass. These juicers deserve to be called the world's finest. For more information, please visit my website at juicegirlpharmacy.com or championjuicer.com.
Welcome back to Live Better Longer. I'm your host, Bill Borton, here with Claire Brown Kohler of We Empower Leaders. So Claire, I get the sense that a number of our viewers are going to want to talk to you and find out how you can help them achieve their goals. How's the best way to get people to get in touch with you?
You can go to weempowerleaders.com.
Okay.
Or you can email me at Claire, C-L-A-I-R-E, at weempowerleaders.com.
Great, thank you. So Claire, before the break, you talked about the 5 steps that you've come up with to help people achieve their goals. Could you walk me through that?
Well, I've studied Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich at great length, and he has 13 steps, but I'm an impatient person, so I've pinned it down to 5. So the first, to circle back, is to have a goal. So take some time and really think about a goal that you want to accomplish.
We hear about SMART goals, right?
Right. And SMART goals are specific, measurable, obtainable, relevant, and time sensitive. So those are all great things. But after you have a goal, you have to have a plan. Because wishing and hoping and thinking and praying won't get you into his arms, and it won't get you where you want to be. It's one of my big complaints about The Secret, because in The Secret, it looks like you can just sit on the couch and wish things to happen and they're going to happen. Ain't so. Part of that whole you don't have to know how to do something does actually involve that you have to take action. So you still have to have a plan, and you still have to take some action. And in taking the action, there's a feedback process that will occur in which you make a plan, you take some steps, then you come back and maybe you tweak the plan, but you still have a plan. So you have a goal, you have a plan, you have support, because nobody gets to the top alone. I don't care what anybody says. You have support. You have to have faith in yourself, because if you don't have faith in yourself, you're going to give up, which leads to number 5, don't give up. So when you have a goal, just like my goal when I wanted happiness and abundance and prosperity, I didn't know what that would look like, but I was very clear that that was my goal. And then I waited for the plan to reveal itself. And when the phone call came in, I went into immediate action, because nobody else in my team believed this buyout was going to occur. So I took a lot of steps to make sure that it would happen. And then support. So I'm very grateful to my life coach at the time, who helped me stay clear that this was going to happen and not give up, and to really work with me on this visualization of how the whole deal was going to turn out. And there were a lot of twists and turns along the way.
Opportunities for you to mess it all up with wrong thinking.
Exactly. And then the 4th is having faith in yourself. And this is what I think most of us get tripped up on. It's our self-limiting beliefs. And this is where the more clearly you can imagine yourself and believe in yourself, having that goal accomplished. Whether you take meditation steps, whether you take journaling steps, whether you take talking it out with a friend, whatever you can do to really get clear that that goal is obtainable and you can do it, will allow you to actually push through all the barriers to get there. And then the 5th is don't give up. And for a variety of reasons, your lack of faith, your lack of support, this plan didn't work, this goal seems unobtainable, we give up. One of my favorite stories in Think and Grow Rich is, I think it's made into another book called 3 Feet from the Edge, right? And in the gold rush days, a couple of miners sold everything they had and bought mining equipment, went out to California, mined for several months. They finally gave up. Sold everything to the next guy in line, who 3 feet after they gave up found the gold. And that's what we do. We give up 3 feet from the edge. And so that's where putting all these steps into place and having the support, having the faith, really makes the difference to you accomplishing your goal. So to kind of wrap up, when you stop and think about your life and living by design, And being retired is a great time to enact this, right? Because so much of our life, we have to go to work. We don't have the opportunity to live our life by design. I really believe you can live better longer by setting goals for yourself, even after retirement.
Most of the people I work with or talk to don't have a plan. They just think that they're going to stop working at some point. I mean, they're going to play golf, whatever. I'm seeing the grandkids, but they don't really know that they're planning the rest of their life.
Right. So taking the time, Grandma Moses, what was she, 80 when she started to actually live into her painting career? There's a great book by Elizabeth Gilbert called Big Magic, and she talks about a friend of hers that in her 80s decided to become a world expert on, I think it was Babylon, and to the point where she studied so hard and went on trips that she became the expert that then people called. In her 80s she did this. It's never too late to set new goals and to set new plans and to imagine having friends that support you in your goals rather than complaining about your ailments or how your grandchildren will call you. It would be pretty great to set a whole new course for your life based on you being excited about getting up in the morning for a goal that you want to attain. I think that when I think about my mom, who's 87, she gets up and drives herself every day. What's her big goal? Bridge. My mother lives for bridge. Now, my father took care of her retirement, so she's quite comfortable. So she has the luxury of playing bridge, but it gets her up in the morning, that and her dog. So it's never too late to set a new goal, to make a new decision about who you want to be. So if people leave the show with nothing else, I encourage them to take a critical step back from their lives. Ask themselves, am I living the life that I want to live?
And I would say the other thing that they should really consider doing is hiring a coach. Because you said it at the beginning of the show, no one can do it all themselves. What professional athlete or artist, well, maybe artists, not so much musicians, who hasn't had the help of somebody else to keep them accountable, keep them on track through their professional lives?
Exactly.
So having an objective person, a friend or a family member may be helpful, but having an objective individual who's a professional, someone like you, could help someone truly live better longer, either in their business, their career, or in their retirement.
Exactly.
Indeed.
Working with an expert is always advisable, right?
It is. Absolutely. I concur wholeheartedly. Well, Claire, thank you so much for being my guest on Live Better Longer. It's been delightful. This is Bill Borton. I look forward to seeing you again next Tuesday for more Live Better Longer on RVN TV. Thanks.